within your solution. So it's not just understanding the scenario. You need to cover two things. If you are answering, your solution should have two main things. The first thing is what you call the coverage, isn't it? They should be coverage. Then they should be depth. So the question is, what's coverage? What's depth? Those are the key things. What's coverage? When we are saying coverage, what constitutes coverage? What's depth? So what constitutes depth? Happy? So you can just show me through reactions team. I was supposed to have another session, uh, but I think there are people we have got an exam next week. So you can just show me through reactions if you can hear me loud and clear. Thanks, patience. I think I can see a reaction. Thanks, Moonlight. So what's key? So I'm sharing here. I'm going to be using the 2025 paper. So I'll be dealing with each and every task team. But so how do you answer or provide a complete solution point? What a complete solution point? What constitutes a complete solution point? All those things they matter. So when it comes to coverage, courage confirm if you are in now. Not yet seen. Uh, I'm with courage. It's fine. So what's coverage? So coverage in simple terms. When you are saying coverage in simple terms, coverage simply means identifying and responding to all the material matters contained in the task. You are responding to uh, all material matters contained in the task. So if you are given a task like, for example, respond to Iola email requesting assistance with Richava's accounting treatment for the potential strategic partnership with the national food retail supermarket chain. Please, one of the greatest mistakes inogona kuitwa nema-students kuda kunopindura only based on what is in the task here. You don't need to focus on the task. You need to go to the scenario, isn't it? Or to the information of the day. Within the information of the day, you might starting from document A. Within document A, let's mute our mics, please. Let's mute our mics. Let's mute our mics. So please, you all, the task is just give you a guideline. But my real issue ndofanwa kudzokera back to the scenario. Ndizvoka. So as I am reading through the scenario team, the document is ndofanwa identify all the asks. Ndizvoka. In almost a week since we joined our company, we are excited about everything. In this email, I want to share some more information on the proposed expansion. Avasati vabvunza, ausati wamubvunzo. Ndizvoka. And I had an informal chat with the CEO and casual asked about any suggested strategic partnership to grow and sell its products in the supermarket chain store. So if you go to my tasks now, they are asking about the accounting treatment for the potential strategic partnership with the national food retail supermarket chain. So if you go to this retail supermarket chain, I'm being given different options, team. There are many options, so I just want to take you through it so that Panchanginda will explain what coverage, what depth is. So the discussion focuses on the following aspects of intended strategic partnership between Richalfa and the national food retail supermarket chain. So the first one intends entering into an agreement with selected partner stores of a national food to sell frozen meals in these stores. So we want to sell frozen in their stores. Richava products will be displayed in specific areas of the store in designated Richava's branded freezers. So please, pane zvinhu zvandoda kuunderstand apa, who's the freezer? So ukatotadza kuunderstanda nekuappreciata pawakaita pre-release. So within the pre-release team, there was an option either tichange tichinotengesa our products in their freezers, or we rent tonoisa freezers, our own freezers, tonoaisa mustore, totanga kutengesa products in those. So ukatadza kuappreciate the difference team. So the question is, if we are using our own freezers, what are we renting if it's an IFRI 16? If we are now using the freezers of national foods, what is the issue? So, pane difference, yaigona kuva list of the freezers, or yaigona kuva list of the space used yatiri kuisa our own freezers. So, handisi kubata hangu ipapo, please, not yet. So, the current thinking is that the supermarket chain stores will not charge rent for the reshelf space and product, but will be entitled to a percentage of the sales revenue of reshelf products sold in their stores. Okay? The moment they are saying they are charging a percentage of the sales revenue, but on a upper team, does it still constitute a lease payment if it's a percentage of sales? Ndikadzokera kumai basic IFRI 16 without muone the thought process pawairesearcha. So your research yako kuti uzonyatsoburitsa chinonzi coverage nedepth, paingodawo futi a general appreciation and understanding of the business model. That's why yesterday I focused mainly on understanding the industry. How does the industry operate? So mukatotarisa team as it stands up, ndisandatombopfuurira. The moment pavari kunditi inini, if we do so, we'll be using my freezers, but chii chatichaita, we'll be paying a percentage of the revenue end. So kana uchito understand the standard, which means muresearch mako pawakapika kuti pane IFRI 16 trigger, possible trigger, ndikufanirwa ndakuto understanda kuti what it constitutes a lease payment. Ndingadai ndakatopinda ndichitoziva kuti para 27 iyi inoti chii. What constitutes a lease payment? Fixed payment, variable lease payments, but that depend on an index or rate. These are measured using the index or rate, or amounts expected to be payable under a residual value guarantee, or exercise purchase price option, then payments of penalties. So ndikatarisa apa ndisandato the moment they are saying it will what constitutes a lease payment. So the moment pavari kutondudza kuti this amount yaisa include it's a percentage of sales revenue, ndakutoziva kuti panenge pasina lisa. This is the current thinking. Then Richafa will provide inventories of its product consignment stock. Again, it would trigger an IFRS 15 issue. If it's an IFRS 15 issue, the question is, principal agent relationship here, consignment here. If I went to the research here consignment, ndakufanira kuunderstand kuti titi tine principal na agent, what circumstances aifanirwa kumitwa ndizvoka. Number one, ndofanirwa ndisina control risk and rewards anoramba aina the owner. Mukuvaona team. So pawaitoita research yako, all these things you have covered them. I encourage, if you are in, and show me, but I have not seen him yet at the moment. So as you are going through team, as you are cost confirm you can hear me. My network is slightly.
Hello, I say Chris. Yeah, my network is
I got it.
also being fought, but I'm okay now.
It's fine.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Okay.
They are saying it will be consignment. They are saying it's a consignment. Don't find no proof. So with the relationship for it to be a consignment, it should be the principal agent relationship. This is appreciating. And then the retail price will be specified so that it aligns. Then the partner stores will collect the sales receipt. The chain stores typically is sophisticated, and at the end of every month, the partner stores will be able to report the total sales. To be structured so that the partner retains 30%, the other one 70%. The moment they are mentioning about this 70-30, if it's 11 become very trigger. So is this a joint venture? Is it a joint operation? It might be a joint venture. It might be a joint operation. So confirm the pick up the IFRI 16, but IFRI 16 yacho pane pairikuitika writing off. It's a percentage of the sales revenue. So the moment it's a percentage of sales revenue, it's no longer a payment. In terms of IFRS 16 team, what constitutes a lease payment? So the moment it's a variable which is dependent upon revenue, it's no longer a lease. But if it was a fixed payment or variable which depends on an index or amount, all these things, they constitute, which is your para 27. So again, lisiri kuraitwa off, meaning to say ndoenda kujoint arrangement, mafacts aripo nemacircumstances andiri kupiwa, does it point? So mukatarisa, as I was reading through apa ndikutoona ifris 15 apa, pane zvinhu zvandiri kufanira kutopika as I'm reading the information of the day, kana research yangu yaiva yakanyatsoitwa nemazvo. Can you pick that, Tim? So understand that. Then the frozen means there's a maximum life of 6 months. If 10 items are unsold by the end of the shelf life, reach out for collect them and dispose of them appropriately, which means my risk and rewards are not being passed. And risk and rewards not being passed. So therefore, ndakutozwa kuti pane principle agent relationship up. IFRS 15, but pane principal agent relationship, because my risk inventory will be responsibility of both the partner stores. Both will monitor inventory and sales to determine when new stock should be delivered. So mukatarisa, who is responsible? But required yedu. So this was context team. So ndakatotarisa ndisati ndamboenda kuri apa team pavari kuti 30-70 is paid, 70 of the product sales revenue is paid to reshuffle within 2 days after the end of each month, based on actual sales to the customers. The agreement is so that partner so retains of product sales revenue. This is just a commission. So mukatarisa team, this andatombopfurira IFRS 11 partially triggered, but it's not an IFRS 11. IFRS 16 partially triggered, but haisi kuzonomita the IFRS 16 because pane percentage of sales revenue. Therefore, the amount being received does not constitute a lease payment. So at the end of the day, the only thing left is my IFRS 15. Ndizoka. So ndikachinotarisa required yedu, mukatarisa vakuti Richafa is asked us to assist with accounting implications of such arrangements. The attached document contains my thought on 3 potential options. Hello. The worst thing chisingafanira kuitika kwauri kunzwa vakutaura zve3 options, iwo pawaverenga apo hapana kana option yawambona. Hello. Maonere as I was reading ndatopika kuti pane possible IFRS 16, but kubva ndatozwa kuti haizi IFRS 16 because it's a percentage of revenue. Ndapika futi pane an IFRS 11 nekuda kwedhi 70-30, but the other one ari kungomendena ka 30%, not kekuti taane a joint arrangement ndizvoka, but it's a commission of selling my product. Ndoziva kuti patrigwa a potential IFRS 11, but I can prove there is no IFRS 11. Patrigwa a potential IFRS 15, but IFRS 15 in which part of IFRS 15? Ndobva ndatonozvipika kuti this IFRS 15 iri kunodhila neissue principal versus agent. So required payapo nditi inini up. Richafa assists with accounting implications of such arrangement. Over the attached contains my thoughts on 3 potential options. And please review. So please, my options achapiwa. So my options are kupindura question number 1. Wanziwewe review. Tunaomatsirana kuti what's coverage. This one, that's number 1. Then 2, provide feedback. Tunaomatsirana. Coverage. This one, that I can use to inform Richard on the accounting implications. So, good review. Number 1, funds accounting implications. This one, so I'm reviewing on the accounting implications. And then review, then provide I can use on the accounting of the proposed arrangement. Then I have to go advise with the reason. So ndapedza kudaro ndakuadvisa with the reasons ndizvoka on the most appropriate, on the appropriateness ndizvoka of each. So havasi kuda kuti utaure iri appropriate yacho, even nedziri wrong ndichataura kuti inomboti chii based on the facts and circumstances aripo, why I'm saying if it's not an IFRS 16. Go enter to the next IFRS 11. What is IFRS 11? But ndikuno review zvaaita pazasi ndizvoka with the reason of each accounting option. Pameka sense. So the question is, chinonzi coverage kupika zvese izvi, kuita izvi zvese zviri, review, provide feedback, advise with the reason. Ndo chinongonzi coverage. Maoneri achikuda kutanga kufoirira ipapa. Ansana ndabata depth. So coverage in simple terms, waona here all the aspects are requested by the examiner. So kana nda identify all the issues, chinonzi coverage ndabo. Hello. Zoreva kuti my complete solution point ndikunouya ndopika all the 3 options. The arrangement, Richard arrangement strategic appears to be an arrangement where 2 parties who have joint control over freezers to work and make decisions in the best interest of the parties. Although it's a 70-30 split, both parties together make decisions about relevant of activities, namely dispersing the store, which freezers to use, and inventory control. The advertising customer satisfaction. This therefore appears to be a joint arrangement. The question here to review. So the name effects are, is it what is on the ground? But according to Ziri these areas really on the ground up. Papa, are they participating on all relevant activities? I mean, I was make sense. So for reviewer, is it correct? So whenever you are reviewing, you identify what was done wrong, and I give an explanation why I am saying it's wrong. So here I have to conclude it's a joint arrangement. So in this regard, since no separate entity will be created, Richalfa will need to account for the arrangement as a joint operation. Hello. Team. IFRS 11 inenge ichidaidza. In other words, vakuti unoziva here IFRS 11. IFRS 11 ndonoibatira kubva kupi? Ndikutononzi bvira naye kupara para 4. And all right. Let me just show you something. So, urikubvira pekuti is it a joint arrangement up? ndabva pajoint arrangement ndopruvha kuti is there joint control, but please ndiri kufanirwa kuzonolinga with mafacts ari muinformation of the day. Joint control chi agreed sharing of control of an arrangement which exists only when decisions about the relevant activities require unanimous consent of the parties sharing control. So vari kuti review, vari kuti ukauya apa iye aita conclusion iyo, but ndikauya pandapiwa macircumstances acho apa. If the agreement is intended to be struck so that the partner still retains 30% of the product sales revenue, and that the remaining of sales is paid to reshuffle within 2 days after the end. But the frozen meals have a maximum shelf life. If any items are unsold by the end of the shelf life, reshuffle will collect and dispose them. Inventory control will be the responsibility of both partner stores and reshuffle. Both will monitor inventory levels and sales, which when new stock should be delivered. So the question is does it give both the parties joint control? Hello? Mukubabate here team. And Sanda kubata, don't worry, ndatinoda kukudzidzisai kuti what coverage, what gap, ndo zvandoda kudzidzisa. Courage, you can come through before they enter in detail. Hi, Courage. All right, I think you'll be in touch soon. So, team, don't forget,
Hello?
fight at the party has on. Hi, Courage.
Say, Chris. Yeah.
You can go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you are touching it. Yeah, very accurately. Coverage, and we cannot overemphasize that you need to pick all the issues. Okay, all the issues. So you are reading your task, your emails, not rushingly or hurriedly. Need to identify every other issue. Then you obviously need to know which one is the most significant problem that needs to be addressed by you being the newly qualified CA, as you add value to what would have been picked or would have been requested you to address by your boss. Now, if you don't pick all the issues, the obvious and the not obvious ones, you'd have failed on coverage. So by coverage, at bare minimum, pick every issue, whether it's there, you can see it glaringly or not. You need to identify all the issues that's going to secure your PC. That is going to be your coverage. Now, before you dive into what are the current issues in the market, where you can now relate to say this issue of tax is probably aligning with what the current minister is highlighted, that the taxes have reduced, taxes have increased, something like that. That will be increasing depth. But for now, in terms of coverage, identify all the issues that are raised in your email and make sure you don't ignore any of those, because that is going to say much about your competence. Are you able to pick things as they come? Are you able to pick obvious things? Are you able to pick a subtle or hidden things? Yeah, that will be my comment. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Courage. So, team, the first thing, confirm I am not using the task. The task it will be a guideline. Let me just go to the task here. Mukatasa task irungoti respond to Ayola email requesting assistance with the accounting treatment for the potential strategic partnership with a national food retail supermarket chain. So handina kunoshandisa what is on the task. Tinoenda kunotsvaga what is the real ask iri muscenario, the real ask pane review, provide feedback, advise with the reason of each accounting option. Let's mute our mics, please. This trainer. Let's mute our mics. So, handina kunoshandisa zviri kuchitask icho, ndoshandisa as I'm reading my information of the day. I need to pick the required directly from. And so obviously ndanzi review, meaning to say havanditi review vasina kumbondiitira something. So vandiitira ka something aka option 1 kubva aita ka option 2 kubva mukatasa option 2, although not explicitly stated as a list, arrangement might contain the list, rents a portion of supermarket for specified period of time. For return of payments, in this case, my variable payments. Vabva vanyarara. Havana kungokuti variable payment based on the number of products sold, which is 30% of the products sold. So ndikati Richafa is the lessee in this regard and need to recognize. So vari kutrigger kuti iwe unoziva here what constitutes a lease payment up. Handiti zviri papi, zviri pa-information of the day up. Pataudzwa mukatarisa strategic plan tiri kunzi tinenge tichibhadhara 30% off. Handiti the partners will collect sales receipts, and these chain stores typically is inventory, and at the end of every month we will be able to report the total sales. But taudzwa kunzi ichange ichitora a percentage of the sales, retains 30% of Richafa product sales revenue. So here paari kuti it's a lease up. Ndosaka examiner paakuti ati review means ari kuti zvandaita zvinogona zvisiri correct. So kana achikuti review ari kuti chindibatsira, if you are saying it's wrong, why is it wrong? Uri kupabata here chii? So you are not just ending there. So understand, pick all your asks. Indoanzoti pick all your asks. So chinonzi coverage. So the first thing that you cover chinonzi coverage. So coverage simply means identifying and responding to all the material matters contained in the task. This is okay. So number 1, a student demonstrates coverage when they, number 1, identify every explicit instruction. If you identified every explicit instruction, is review, provide feedback, advise with the reason of each accounting option. Meaning to say, ndikangogumira ndikaenda kutask kunoku team, am I able to provide the proper coverage? Timbovunza. Hello? Ndikangoenda kuchitask chandapiwa ichi, ndinokwanisa here kucover all the coverage? Ndikuti chinonzi coverage, number 1, it's identifying every explicit instruction. So ndikangoenda kutask, am I able to do so? Let's unmute team. Feel free to discuss, team. It's open, and feel free to ask questions. Hello? Hi, Natasha. Am I able to? Nangopiko vandakajela. Natasha? More lights. I'm just speaking names. Andy, am I able to do so? Not only but that's what it's going to another team network out. Andy, if I just go to the task, am I able to pick all the explicit instructions? So mukatarisa team, so chekutanga chinonzi coverage, it's identifying every explicit instruction, review, provide feedback, advice. Number 2, chinonzi coverage, it's identifying the separate components hidden inside one sentence. So they may give me one sentence, but within that sentence they hide other components in the same sentence. Number 3, coverage assists me to respond to all stakeholders mentioned. Have I responded to all stakeholders mentioned? Number 3, I should coverage assist me to address all relevant technical disciplines. All relevant technical disciplines. Number 5, Coverage assists me to consider both financial and non-financial implications. So are they financial? Are they non-financial implications? Number 6, coverage assists me. I provide conclusions and recommendations for every major matter. And number 7, I can use the required communication format. So coverage team is therefore about what you call the breadth and the completeness. So it's breadth and completeness. Mukupabate here team. Don't you know the coverage? Tikaenda, if we go here, I just want to show you something. Just B. Respond to Zeria January email regarding Bridger's draft journal entries for 2 alternatives existing incentive scheme and the income tax implications of the 2 alternative schemes for Claimant and the CEO of the company. So if I go to the information of the day again, nobody searching to know the coverage. So as I'm reading through, I just want to go through. This is document C. In this document, I need document B. So now pick up all the required. I know the environment here is quite fast-paced, but I trust that we are setting in well and keeping abreast of the developments on the various matters that have been brought to your attention. This is just context. 2 of Claimant shareholders, namely Stolle family, and they have raised concerns about the performance incentive scheme of Iola and I. They believe the incentive is too generous to us, and they are also concerned that their shareholding will be diluted through the issue of shareholders of shares in the settlement of the scheme. Iola and I are open to negotiation to change the performance incentive scheme. Dr. Rick has consequently been in consultation with an external remuneration who has put forward 2 alternatives to the existing incentive scheme, which are aimed at addressing the shareholders' concern. So, Tsukuta is that here required the team. But, as you are communicating, provide conclusions and recommendations for every matter. And also respond to all stakeholders mentioned. So please, Panama stakeholders are worried. So to this one, it is reasonably expected to exceed 20%. Alternative to, instead of receiving additional shares, we will receive cash out, but happy with these 2 alternatives. But the question happens, the board of Claimant has employed the service of evaluation to value the schemes and have attached some information from their report to this email. So Badge and read and prepared journal entries for the board consideration at an upcoming next meeting. I have also included this in the attachment. Please send me an email in which you review the draft journal. So panel review the draft journal. Include comments on their accuracy. Please make sure you pick. Also include the reasons for agreeing or disagreeing with the Bridger's journal entries so that the board has a comprehensive information to consider. That's why so it has recently come to my attention that the income tax implication of the performance incentive, both in the hands of the company and the beneficiary, can be complex. The external consultant mentioned that there may be practical implications to consider when evaluating the most efficient income tax treatment versus the beneficiaries of the scheme when considering cash taxes that may be payable. Please consider an outline the income tax consequences. Mukone my question above and to the beneficiaries. A brief explanation with sufficient will be sufficient, and there's no need for too much detail at this stage. So if I pick this question, team, my required angle number 1, Pargo who responded to reviewer the draft journal entries. Then consider the 2 alternative incentive schemes. Another thing, the income tax implications for Claimant. Then also you have the income tax implications for the core CEOs. Hello? So if a student discusses only the accounting entries, yes, depth in accounting, but you lack coverage because the tax consequences have been omitted. A student who merely writes one sentence on accounting, one sentence on tax may technically touch every area, but the treatment may be too shallow to demonstrate the competence. Pameka sense here chief. Mapika here mibvunzo yese apa. So chinonzi coverage. Wapika here every question. So the first stage yekunopasa in APT or APC exam is identifying all the asks. Wapika here all the required, and have you responded to each and every required? So chinonzi coverage team that in simple terms, identify every explicit instruction, identify the separate components hidden inside one sentence, address all relevant technical disciplines, respond to all stakeholders mentioned, consider both the financial and non-financial implications, provide conclusions, your recommendations for every major matter, and use the required communication format. Don't you know the coverage? So it's therefore about the breadth and completeness. So up and down, review the draft journal entries. Don't discuss about the two alternative incentive schemes, the income tax implications they want for claimants, and also that the income tax implications for the CEOs. Pabatika. That's the coverage in simple terms. Time responda kana kuvhunza zvinondibatsira, you can show me through reactions kuti ndizive kuti ndine vanhu kana kuti masara. Are
Hi,
you following?
Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, you can proceed.
Can you come again on the 7 aspects of coverage?
All right. So that for coverage, number one, you need to identify um all the explicit instructions. This is every explicit instruction. So we can review a comment, a advice. So identify every explicit instruction. That's number one. This one. Number two, identify the separate components hidden inside one sentence. Identify separate components hidden inside one sentence. Number three, address all the relevant technical disciplines. For example, the income tax implication side, but also the accounting implication side. So address all relevant technical disciplines. Number four, respond to all stakeholders mentioned. Panama shareholders who are complaining. So let's cover all those stakeholders in my response. Then consider both the financial and the non-financial implication. Consider both the financial and the non-financial implication. Then provide conclusions and the recommendations for every major matter. Then use the required communication format. Abatike, Rachel.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Great. So don't you know the coverage and starting down with depth. So you know the coverage team. Wapika here each and every aspect yavhunzwa apa. So mukatarisa pabvunzwa zvinhu zvakawanda. Review the draft journal entries, comment on their accuracy, reasons for agreeing or disagreeing with the Bridges journal entries. Mukupamata. So panel this one, it's explicit. Include comment, it's explicit. Include the reasons, they were explicit. Then it has recently come to my attention the income tax implications, both in the hands of the company. So ndikuda kuibata from claimant and the two and the beneficiary. Hello, mukaone regional coverage. Ndapika here review of the draft journal entries. Include comments on their accuracy. Include the reasons for agreeing or disagreeing. Then when it comes to income tax implications, in the hands of the company and the beneficiaries. So the fastest way team yekufoira APC kunonoidiscussa in the hands of the company. Orega kuona kuti vaida for both the company and the beneficiaries. It's fast. Izvozvo ndo zviri fast. anoda kukasika kukwira. So tinonzi coverage team ndopandiri kuti identify the fastest way yekupasa APC kungo identify everything. Coverage watovapo kungopindura every ask iyo in terms yeinonzi coverage wabo. Happy days. So ukangodaro coverage watopinda. So maone here kapikiro kandiri kuita makuti ndochekutanga chandoda kuti tidile nacho ichocho. Ndipika mazvoni kuti ndiri kupika sei mibvunzo. So maona ndiri kuavoida chii? Ndiri kuavoida kuuya kutaski pana. Kozi task haindipe zvese. Mapaona, task is just a guideline. But zvinhu ndofanirwa kuzvipika. So as you are reading, inini pandaiva student, pandaita APC, ndaibva ndatonyora ito pasi. Totora peni yangu, tototanga kunyora kuti ndobva ndatodai so. Kuti ndikavhe coverage. Ndaitobva ndati review, ndobva ndanyora include comments, ndobva ndanyora include reasons for agreeing or disagreeing. Ndobva ndapika next income tax implications for the company and individuals, beneficiaries. Ndo chinonzi coverage team. So ukagona kudai so in terms yeinonzi coverage watowana mamarks ako ese. Hello. Any other questions? So that's coverage. Each inonzi depth now. So kana wapata chinonzi coverage chakuda depth. So depth now means analyzing each important matter sufficiently to demonstrate competent professional judgment. So mukatarisa apa team handikuda kunopinda mudhi technical side steering, please. Handikuda kutemptwa kupinda mutechnical. Kana uchi understand the technical side, team proposal, this is IFRS 2. If you want to deal with IFRS 2, then team, my other technical issues ndakaisa pa YouTube pangu, please. Varikuvharwawo netechnical. Muchaona kuti technical inodiwa. Though its application hatizodi answer iri technical yekubhuya kuti para 15 para chakati at APC. No. We need you to apply those paragraphs. But make sure another key thing, you are responding to the board. Within the board team, really made up of my engineers, my lawyers, etc. So your solution, inofanwa iri technical, but isiri technical. Yes, it should be technical, but not technical. Iri kuburitsa zvinhu zvikutaurwa neIFRS 15, but ndisina kunono deeper in the paragraphs because ndikuda kuconsider kuti muboard ndofanirwa kuziva kuti ndiri kuresponda to who. Email yangu iri kunyorerwa ani. Ndifinance manager here anoziva maIFRS. Munhu here iboard here ndiCEO asiri ACAZ or a financial person. So I need to understand and appreciate my audience. Andizvi? So kana uchinyorera audience ari manana accountant, wotanga kuvaudza kuti according to para 15 ukuda kuti vanovhura standard here. Ukuvati chii? So unofanira kutaura zvinhu zviri mustandard without even quoting, but uchirefer, uchiapply the standard, but in a layman's language, so that each and every person will understand and have an appreciation asina kumbovhurirwa standard. And so questions team. So the depth now, it's now analyzing each important matter sufficiently to demonstrate competent professional judgment. So per depth team, Demonstrator number one. You are now identifying the applicable principle or the technical authority. You identify the applicable principle or technical authority. Danchita kudhipisa kuenda muIFRIS. For example, team, pane apa pane pari kuchinjwa in IFRIS 2. But kana tiri kuIFRIS 2 pane an important thing, team. Taita here modification or not, toconsider kuti zvoda kuitwa, is it favorable kuma beneficiary? The moment it's not favorable to my beneficiary, we don't carry out the modification. Kana muchinzwisa IFRIS 2 yenyu in detail. Team, please go through. If you go on my YouTube channel, mukangoti Chris Munodawafa, pane marecording andinoisa ipapo ekuti ungo appreciate the technical side. Please just go on YouTube, type Chris Munodawafa. Unoona especially vana text, especially text ndakanyatsodzirova maIFRIS 15 etc. I think maIFRIS 16 pane zvandakaita. So you need to appreciate that technical. So just subscribe to that channel. So number one, depth is demonstrated when you identify the applicable principle or the technical authority. Number two, you explain why it applies. That technical principle or technical authority, why does it apply in this circumstance? Then you now need to link the principle to the specific facts arimu pre-release or arimu information of the day. Then you, where necessary, perform the relevant calculation. Yeah, depth now. This okay. Then evaluate the alternatives. Mandipa option 1, option 2, option 3. Why am I picking option 3? This is okay. Depth now. Consider uncertainties and assumptions. What assumptions have you made? What uncertainties can arise? This is okay. Then also explain the financial statement. Is it tax? Is it audit? Is it strategy or governance effect of Zaitika? Then at the end of the day, you should reach a defensible conclusion. Then at the end of the day, you give a practical advice. So depth team, in simple terms, it's about the quality, it's about the reasoning, it's about the application. The material team. Tani appreciation. Yeah, difference between what coverage, what's depth. I courage. Thing number one.
Hi, Chris.
I.
Come again on depth.
All right. So depth, it's about number one, identifying the applicable principle or the technical authority. This okay. Then explain why it applies. Why does it apply? Yanda choose I mean. This is not a list. Why? Explain why it applies. This okay. Then two, I have to link the principle to the specific fact. Link the principles to the specific fact. This okay. Then another thing, per depth, perform the relevant calculations if necessary. Perform relevant calculations. Then evaluate alternatives like Apatapi or option 1, option 2. Evaluate those alternatives. Then consider uncertainties and assumptions. Then you need to explain what is the financial statement, the tax, the audit, the strategic or governance effect. Then you should now reach a defensible conclusion and give a practical advice. So depth is about the quality, it's about the reasoning, it's about the application. So every solution point yako team at APC, normally for every major issue, the response yako should generally move through number one, what is the issue? What is the issue? Mostly solution yako inofana floor. What's the issue? What's the principle? What are the facts? I do my analysis. I do my calculations. I do the implications. I do the conclusion, then recommendation. Ameno kana manzwa zvinhu zvandataura team. What's the issue? What principle? What effect? Ndizvoka? What are the facts? A complete solution. What's the issue? What's the principle? What's the fact? I do the analysis. If necessary, calculation. What are the implications of those calculations? I come to the conclusion. Then I give a recommendation. So a shallow response usually just stops at the principle. But from your issue, the principle, what are the facts? What is the analysis? If you done calculations where necessary, what are the implications? Conclusion, then recommendation. So a shallow response normally stops at the principle. So, but a deep response should show how the principle changes the decision facing the client. So one key thing you should understand, coverage and depth are not opposites, please. So sometimes people think they must choose between answering many matters and analyzing only a few matters deeply. Please, at APC, you need both. When it comes to coverage, the student identify all material matters. That's coverage. At depth, the student analyze the important matters properly. When it comes to coverage, it's about the breadth. Pick all the questions, all the asks, that's breadth. But depth, yeah, quality, you explain, you conclude on the facts. Coverage, it's about completeness. Depth, it's about listening. Coverage, it's about all the asks. But beyond the depth, now I'm dealing with the sufficient analysis of each ask. Coverage inokubatsire chi, it prevents omissions. But depth assists you to prevent superficial responses. So coverage, it's what I must discuss. But depth, it's how well must I discuss it. Hello. I hope
Yeah. Say Chris. Say Chris.
courage can come through.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting and it's so fascinating. You know, right now, even qualified years later, you know, these things are seemingly becoming super easy now because coverage. Did I identify all the issues? Number one. Number two, I want to hear quality of the issues that are raised. Remember, every email presents a problem that a particular company is facing, or a particular finance director or CEO is facing. I'm not sure how you account for the wait list. I just heard they are talking about wait list in my airline company. It means the CEO does not know. Now, where do you start? And how do you sell the information to the CEO so that the CEO does not need to go and start accounting? CEO needs to understand from the accountant, being me, the newly qualified CA. Now, how I demystify the issues at hand using the technical backing that is there to ensure that whatever I say becomes acceptable on the table. That is your depth. You can use depth as a way of you articulating the issues raised in the email. Issues, they are problems typically. They are problems. Now, before you jump to the solution of a problem, you need to understand the problem. You need to provide guidance from whatever sources that helps you to cover or solve the problem. Then you give your professional judgment because you are the CEO. You give your professional judgment based on what the sources that you will be there. For example, your IFRS, your auditing, your tax legislation. Now you are supporting your point. Now there is also what is in the industry. You can also package that as part of your what? Your debts, without going to town and all sorts of things, but making sure you are bringing up the why. You are applying the issues to what is relevant and what is happening in the industry, and then you conclude, and then you give it to the CEO. There are instances where you don't need even to come up with the, for example, you need to include experts. You provide that basis. Exactly. So that is your what? Your depth. So you don't need to write composition. You have your logical flow. You've identified the problem under your coverage. Now, how do you solve the problem? Walk through the problem. There are texts, there are contexts that are there that covers the problem. Then give me the conclusion as the CEO, because I don't need to start accounting. You are the accountant. Tell me. Now, after that, give me the recommendation. Professional analysis that is got quality. You need to say, when you are in the board do not need to start or open your preface, but the board needs to appreciate your input as the accountant, by your technical analysis, by your professional judgment. Always come up with a judgment. What is the recommendation? What's the best? Okay, in this case, we need to include a technical expert, for example, the actuary. That is fine, but already you demystify the issues to say, no, this one will be a technical mate, but it will need an expert. Something like that. You are fattening your coverage with the understanding that you have obtained depending on your audience. I hope that is helping.
Hi, team, let's unmute. Let's discuss. It's a discussion. It's a good discuss. Feel free to discuss. You can ask questions. I'm ready to answer. I'm myself encouraged. We are there for you. So, team, if we go to our, for example, let's go to the first task. This one. Respond to Iola email requesting assistance with the accounting treatment for the potential strategic partnership with the national food retail supermarket chain. So if I go back here, ndatini chekutanga team. Mukatarisa vatanga vandipa the context. Please don't miss the context. Decision yaita, whatever decision yaita, we have this context here. But here as unochinoita my decision, it can be option 1, it can be option 2, it can be option 3. But atipama facts and circumstances, or my facts or my contractual terms of each agreement. So kana ndichitsvaga chinhu chinonzi coverage, please let's discuss. So chekutanga, let's go to the wording of the task. Ukaenda task wording yacho, tikaenda kuri kutask apa, ndoda kumbodhila netask. Ari kuti according to the wording of the task, the student, you must respond to Iola's email requesting assistance with the accounting treatment for potential strategic partnership with the national food retail supermarket chain. So my explicit asks chekutanga, task yedu, they contain at least 3 distinct elements. Chekutanga urgunzi analyze the proposed strategic partnership. Please, chechi 2 urgunzi determine the appropriate accounting treatment. Chechi 3 urgunzi communicate the advice to Iola. Avana kugumira ipapo. So the words potential strategic partnership are important, please. So you should not immediately assume the arrangement is a subsidiary. Is it associate? Is it joint venture? Merely because it is called a partnership. Hello. So kune munhu achatono conclude nekuti panze partnership autosaka it's a joint venture. We don't conclude based on that. Tapiwa mafake team. So for coverage, you should consider where relevant. Number 1, understanding the arrangements. I need to understand the arrangement per coverage. What exactly each party contributing? Those underpriwa kuma factory kudenga. Is cash being invested? Are assets, staff, intellectual property, receipts, outlets, branding, distribution rights being contributed? Are we all contributing? Next, who out? Confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Chris.
If you, and it's not just about the partnership. Understand the team, but the partnership. What exactly is each party contributing? Please, those rental tools when you're is cash being invested? Are assets, intellectual property rights being contributed? Who makes key decisions? How are profits agent or co-investor? Team zvikonekere zvinhu zvandiri kupika. What's our role? So chinonzi coverage is a separate vehicle being established. Ripa coverage. Is the supermarket merely a customer, distributor, franchiser, agent, or co-investor? Are there minimum purchase commitments? Are there exclusivity classes? I'm just understanding the arrangement. Can either party terminate the arrangement? Who bears inventory, pricing, obsolescence, and credit risk? You analyze the team, mafactor. So the classification now, the student now should determine whether the arrangement is potentially it's a subsidiary, joint etc. What accounting consequences? Some accounting consequences usually they follow the classification. So the effects or your coverage may include your control, your joint control, your significant influence, your consolidation, equity accounting, inventory ownership, initial cost impairment, everything. Then so state the arrangement may be joint. Network yangu iri kundirwisa. All right. I think I'm back. Confirm you can hear me now. Ndambenge ndichirwiswa nenetwork. Hello? Network iri kuita ichindirwisa. But confirm you can.
Yes, we can hear you, Chris. We can hear you.
Can take over for a moment. Ingomboita reboots. Courage. Can just come for a moment. Ingomboita reboot. I don't know what's happening with my network. Just for a moment. Hello, team. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Thanks, Natasha. All right. So, ndikuti chinonzi depth team. A deep response would not merely say the arrangement may be a joint venture. hakuna zvakadaro team. Inini chinonzi debt, I would analyze the activities that significantly affect returns. Tinofanira kudevelopa the facts nema-circumstances ese are given in the scenario. Ndizvoka, whether the parties have rights to the net assets or direct rights to assets and obligation, whether a separate vehicle exists. Pane contractual terms which override the legal form. What is the resulting accounting method? What is the effect on Richafa's financial statement? So as you are building your solution, make sure the accounting treatment of the proposed supermarket partnership. SRE3. But in the review, why anima certain conclusion akashika 8. So ndikufanira kuprove kuti my conclusions are either correct here or were they not correct, using or providing practical evidence. Ndichitora the principle from the standard, apply the principle from the standard. Understanding of the proposed arrangement, assessment of control, appropriate accounting treatment. What is the other accounting implications? What is the commercial and governance risk? What information is still required? So, coverage failure team. Normally, a student lacks coverage where they discuss only whether the arrangement is joint venture, but you ignore the revenue recognition, you ignore inventory ownership, you ignore the contractual terms, you ignore your strategic risk, you ignore the approval, you ignore information required, reaching the final conclusion. And mostly, debt failure, if you write as both parties share the profit. This is joint venture, and equity accounting must be applied. Profit sharing alone team does not establish joint control or determine whether the arrangement is a joint operation or joint venture. So as you were going through, you need to understand, you need to appreciate. So in terms team, like this question, the coverage team, task aima asks ayo angari chi, while the review option 1, ucha review option 2, ucha review option 3. So option 1 is joint arrangement. Option 2 is possible lease and right of use. This is lease liability. Option 3 is IFRS 15 revenue treatment. Then you have to conclude which accounting treatment is appropriate. And the next thing, you should give reasons, not labels only. What are the reasons? So, the coverage, why matter all the 3 options and address them separately. The 11, you test joint control. You IFRS 16, is there an identified asset? Then what is the variable payments test you? But variable payments, I arbitrate list. You end up with IFRS 15, the consignment, control transfer, the principal agent, I test that. Then accounting entries, measurement, direction, address. But depth young, the apply the joint control, the collective control may exist, but unanimous consent over relevant activities. I commit co-op. You're gonna for least identify my freezers here, my substitution rights are repaired. But planning a variable, it's sales based, it's a variable payment based on revenue. Does it qualify as a lease payment? For revenue, you have to prove, is it a consignment? Control stays with the shelf until sell to the end customer. So if I use the principal indicators, prove that the shelf will remain a principal. The channel has inventory risk. The channel has who does the pricing discretion. What are the primary responsibilities? Then you don't conclude that though gross revenue 30% funny commission expense, funny return or refund liability where relevant. ndiri kupika those things from the scenario. Hello, timukuona here chinonzi depth and coverage? You can show me through reactions. Ndochinhu chinonzi depth, team. Ndochinhu chinonzi coverage. So whenever you're dealing with the depth and coverage, wabata chii solution mako. What constitutes your solution? So your solution should have all the aspects. Have you identified all the asks? So I call them asks. Identified all the asks. That was my task A. And then if I go to task B, if you take it from here, respond to Zeria January email regarding Breja journal entries for the two alternatives to the existing incentive scheme and the income tax implications of the two alternative schemes for Claremont and the CEO of the company. So please, Chekutanga, I have to identify all my asks. Ndapika here all my asks are. Andanyora apa, nambokunyorera. Panzi review, comment, reasons for agreeing, income tax implications for the company, then for the beneficiaries. So ndikufanira kukavha chinonzi coverage. I am repeating again. Then tikatarisa team havana kubvumira ipapo. Pane majournal entries abva aitwa aya. Pakatodebhitwa chakati equity debit if to remuneration, then debit etc. Can you see it? So mukona pane majournal akatoitwa. So ma-asks angu chekutanga ndisina kuudzirwa. I have to review the journal entry for alternative one share option modification. Though ma-asks I task B. I have to review the journal entry for alternative 2 if it's a cash settled payout. Then I should agree or disagree. And not only agree or disagree, give reasons. Tim, asks. Then I have to outline the text for Claremont, the company. I have to outline the text for Iola and Zeria. So ndapika all my asks. Do andambokwisira apa.
Passion.
Hello. Tim, let's mute our mics. So can you see those things, Tim? Zviri make sense. So kunhuko APC team, and I always say APC is overrated now. Why? Because ndakunzwisisa ukagona kupindura all the asks are coverage watova coverage watova. So if I dealt with all the asks, so mostly team ndakambofoira APC. One of the reasons chaita ndifoire APC ndaitotanga ndaverenga scenario inonzi information of the day yese toda kurenga kuti ndoda kutanga neii neii. Team uku hauna choice, you are going to answer all questions. Munoziva ndizvo. So as I'm reading through my information of the day, ndofanira kubva ndatopika ma-ask kutongotanga ne-A, B, C, D, E uchienda. Hello, ndiri kunzwiko here team. So based on your research, sorry, is your research answering all the asks aripo aya? So mukatarisa, please team, start with the asks aya. So ma-ask angu aripo in this circumstance, ndo handiri kuti number one wanziri papiwa journal entry 1. So I'm reviewing the journal entry for alternative 1. I'm going to review journal entry for alternative 2. I'm going to agree or disagree and give reasons. I'm going to outline the tax implications for Claremont. I'm going to outline the text for Iola and Zeria. So chinonzi coverage team. We cannot discuss the equity settled modification rules. We cannot discuss the cash settled replacement or classification change. We could not discuss the correct bridge debits or credits and the cumulative amount, the coverage. We could not identify my tax timing and the deductibility for the company. The channel identify the employee or beneficiary tax consequences. Nema cash tax tensions are ripap. But you know the depth now. Depth in that no consider, do not expense a negative increment of fair value. Wakuva from understanding kuti chiri kuchinja team. Chiri kuti as long according to iFreeze 2. Like I said, iFreeze 2 per YouTube. I don't remember. But in the detailed recording, iFreeze 2. So team iFreeze 2, as long a modification can iri negative in a negative implications to the beneficiary, it's not accounted for. So padepth ndizvawaifanirwa kuburitsa kuti mukatarisa apa pari kuitwa change up ndizvoka is expected to exceed 20%. It is proposed that the target for incentive arrangement be changed from 15 to 18% up. The moment it's changed from 15 to 18%, I should not expense that because it's not favorable. So the moment it's not favorable, do not expense. A negative increment of fair value for alternative continue original granted debt for fair value unless it's beneficial modification. Yeah, debt now. Vakuda kuona kuti uno-understanda here mitemo. Consider whether vesting probability remains likely. Service period yedu 2/3 complete as the third one. Ikurambe here iripo. Then for alternative 2, Dakuno recognize a liability at fair value to date. Your reverse a transfer to equity settled reserve as required. Dakufanirwa explain that the tax practical cash terms, combined deduction may not equal the accounting expense. Beneficiary may be taxed on vesting, exercise cash. Dakuno apply the income tax implications. Is it an approved share ownership scheme? All those things. Then remember, my investors are worried. Is there no dilution of control? That per depth we should also respond and comment on the effects to the rest of the stakeholders. Wamulisa chinhu chinonzi depth. Hello. Team. So that's depth. That's coverage. But you know the depth and the coverage, if you have an understanding of those two, team could answer exam on a. So every part, first identify what are the asks. This is over. So in order to create a coverage checklist. So as I'm going through the information of the day, don't create and coverage checklist. This is my coverage checklist. What should be included in the coverage? Then, team, let me finish me required 3. Let's go to another one. Document C. I've just received the agenda for the next week Villa Flood board meeting, and I need your assistance with the targeting Gauteng government department or agenda items specifically. The charge project plan is included under the agenda. The plan was prepared by Villa Sales and Marketing Manager. Do you think that I should support the project plan in its current form? Also, prepare points I should make at the board meeting before we vote on this matter. Please, these points should include any areas of the project that should be revisited. Team. Number 1, should I support the project plan? Prepare points I should make at the board meeting. Then also, any areas the project that should be revisited, which means panic review. I must admit I'm eager to Villa Flood to position itself as an active supplier if the company is not focused on this important in the past. So the question is, my asks are responded up. So number 1, team, please. Tekutanga chinhu chinokubatsira pa coverage ku identify all the asks. So the first ask iri kunzi state whether to support the current project plan. That's number 1. Number 2, identify board points before the vote. Number 3, identify areas requiring revision. Number 4, team, ndikachizoenda through the document racho ethics, it's not directly triggered, it's indirectly triggered. Saka ndabva ndapiwa chinhu chacho ichi, project plan ichi. So tikatarisa, as I'm going through the project plan to position as the preferred provider of hospitality, Gauteng, build strong relationship with supply chain management. The sales and market team will attend government and industry to establish link with and profile, and it initiates regular check-ins with team to stay informed about upcoming opportunities and requirements. What's regular invitation only open house to offering officials a comprehensive experience of what is available, featuring exclusive tours of our informative queue and accompanied by finest catering and drinks. Mukonere magifts. This will demonstrate our capabilities and commitment. Team, another trigger yatouya naturally apa nezvandiri kupiwa mudocument, another ask yatobuda apa, address ethics, governance and public procurement risks. Mukaona team, as I'm going through kunzi vanhu vacho vaunze macity officials, imbovaunzai kwedu kubasa kwedu, movaisa makadai so, movapa madrinks muchivaratidza. Hallo, ethics iri kuoneko here? So ethics team haiuye iri direct question, ethics will indirectly be triggered. So another ask isina kuvhunzwa team apa iri kufanirwa kuinkludwa. So ndikazodzika nayo team, let's go down nayo. Vari kubva kuti the sales and marketing conduct analysis of competitors offering, price models and client profile. The research will be extensive, includes drawing on the relationship with SCM officials to source information submitted by competitors for previous tenders. This analysis forms foundation of position as the perfect solution for the provincial government needs. Another thing, develop building on insights from the market analysis, sales and etc. Retailer that differentiates us from competitors. Strategic engagement through influential representation. Appoint a well-connected retired politician to act as ambassador to promote the services offered by the hotel. They will use to secure direct meetings with the key government officials. Mukuona here an indirect ask, but ndikadzokera kurequired kwangu uku hapana pavabvunza direct ethics apa. Mukatarisa apa apa, so ndoda kutaipa team maasks angu apa. Number 1, what's my first ask? Ndizoka state whether to support. Number 1, chinonzi unzi waita coverage. Number 1, uchapindura state the first atokuudza, what should you state? Whether to support the current project or plan. Whether to support current. Pakubatsirana kupasa APC hakunetso. Current projects or plan. That's number 1. Number 2, also prepare points I should make at the board meeting. Responding to all the required team. So identify board points before vote. Identify board points before vote. Number 3, team mukonere chinonzi kuanza ndo zvinongodiwa chete. As you are reading, unofanira kutobva wanyora so chinonzi coverage. Anditi pane chimwe chabva ataura indirectly, identify areas requiring revision. areas requiring revision. Then number 4, aina kuvunzwa directly, but pavazondipa the plan yacho yandiri kureviewa team ine maareas ari kunzi ngatibhadhare mabribes, ngatipote tichivaunza ndizvoka vachidai so totsvaga munhu anoziva zvakati. So pane an ask yabvunzwa iri kuda kuti address ethics, governance and procurement issues. Mukuonera another ask team isiri yazonoincludwa pavari kundipa the further information. So ndiri kuti inini chinonzi coverage team identify all these things ndo chinonzi coverage. But at the end of the day, team, I should still acknowledge the commercial and it is a business transaction. Investor, I should still acknowledge the commercial opportunity ripo. Ndo chinonzi coverage team. Ndo ma-asks. Maonere ndapika all the asks. Ndizvo muri kuita here vada unonyora APT. Patience. Zviri kubatika here izvi. Hi, Patience. Great. Juliet. Mugodi. Zviri kumeka sense. So please, ukapika all these things in terms of chinhu chinonzi coverage, ndakuchingonobudisa what is the commercial objective address, each problematic action challenge. So pane zvinhu zvaaitaura ngatidai so I should challenge each problematic action challenge. Then my ethical threats, corruption, public procurement risk identified. To identify coverage. What is the governance or board oversight and controls I should address? What is the practical remediation or revised plan I should provide? Ndichipindula, that's how I respond to these asks. Team. So, chinonzi depth now. Let's go to depth. Proper depth team. Mukatarisa paari kundipa izvi zvinhu zvaazoisa izvi zvaari kuti ngavauye tovaendesa kumafacilities, tovapa the finest catering and drinks. Chinonzi depth now, as I'm explaining ndizvoka I should explain why relationship building iri kuitwa crosses into inducement, conflict risk, when hospitality is invitation only and targeted at SCM officials only. Again, ndiri kukumbira kuti tipewo information yakapiwa nevamwe vakasubmita matenda avo. So I should explain the competitor tender information create confidentiality and fair competition breaches. Ndo chinonzi depth. Ndizvoka. Then again, tikunzi ngatitsvagei an ex-politician tomuita ambassador. So you need to explain ambassador politician may create bribery, influence peddling, and reputational risk. Then also mukatarisa vari kuzotaura ishe kunomanipulata makoti taziva emacompetitor. I should explain court manipulation and contract splitting, defeat procurement thresholds, and could be unlawful and unethical. Then ndofanirwa kuzorecommenda a compliant go-to-market plan, supplier database, open tenders, transparent pricing, gift policy, anti-bribery controls, board approvals, and reporting. Ndaburitsa chinhu chinonzi depth. Hello. So I started from the coverage. Ndopinda pa depth. Taurai nini team? Questions? Hello? Questions. So all those things, team, ziri kungobva basic understanding, basic appreciation, team. Ekuti, do we even have an understanding? Do we even have an appreciation of those facts and circumstances, team? I think I also am going to share with you. Uh, let me see if it's possible. I want to share a link. Please, pane pandaikabuditsa session yandakaita ndichiburitsa ma ethics. My own. Ndaiatacha mu wow. Someone is typing courage. You were typing the depth formula. Pani type na courage as I was explaining my own chat. Then please, that YouTube, make sure you subscribe as well. So if you subscribe to that channel. Pani the ethics. Courage, you can come through. I think I'm done. Questions, team. Mukuda imwe one required here, cannot mabo. Zvakumeka sense here. Hello, yes, how are you? Do you need another required cannot chabat? Timon, identify same questions. Hero, I'm just picking it random and I got Did you see how we pick my required? Hi, Grace. Nyangari. Zvabatike.
Hi, Chris. Yeah, and ndabatsirikana pane
Vakumeka sense, handed. So the most important thing, team, identify all your asks. Identify all your asks. Hi, Joyce. I think I can see a hand.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Joyce.
So yeah, what you call it? When you were now talking about depth, I realized that what you were now talking about more explaining, but it was not for all the asks that had been brought up. But I
Yes.
realized that when they are marking, like it's like each and every area they would be requiring that depth. So
Yeah. So
is
everything chawatongopindura ndizvoka hachifanirwi kusara chiri hengi, Joyce. Tofanira kutoisa the depth of each aspect hangu indazenge ndichipika some of the things, but everything chawato identify, and as long you write something about that ngachinoconclude with the depth. As long you cover it, provide the depth of that item.
okay. All right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
get into depth of that item. All right. Thanks. Any other questions, Tim? Mabo handed. Pangade one last one here. But I think I've done justice handed to so please make sure you bring out everything. This okay? I think Courage was typing in the chat about the issues, the formula of depth, which I explained previously. And don't forget, Tim, I said the formula for depth, mostly when it comes to depth, what should I include in depth? This okay? And also the out what should I cover? So that in depth, you are identifying the applicable principle or technical authority. This okay? Explain why it applies. Link the principle to the specific fact. This okay? Then perform relevant calculations where necessary. Then evaluate alternatives. Then consider uncertainties and assumptions. Then explain the financial statement, be it text or DT. strategic or governance effect, then reach a defensible conclusion. Please, it's not just a conclusion. Reach a defensible conclusion and give a practical advice. So, in simple terms, depth, I usually call it what's the issue, what's the principle, what are the facts, what is the analysis, are they calculations, what are the implications, what's my conclusion, and what's my recommendation. That's my depth formula. So, issue, principle, facts, analysis, calculation if relevant, implications, conclusion, then the recommendation. This all. Then for coverage team, Dakuti, you need to answer 7 things. Identify every explicit instruction. Ndosaka ndanga ndichipika that part kuti state pobva panzi identify ponzi propose. Ndizvaka identify every explicit instruction. Identify the separate components hidden inside one sentence. Address all relevant technical disciplines. Respond to all stakeholders mentioned. Consider both financial and non-financial implications. Provide conclusions and recommendations for every major matter, and use the required communication format. If you do so, coverage yako yaita sei yabuda team. Handiti, tomorrow we have another session. I think that will be the final session. Team, good night. Make sure you subscribe and follow. Some of those things are on my YouTube channel. It's for free. Good night. Enjoy the rest of the evening.